Okay, so how's everybody doing? So I thought I would just blow off this little video clip here, sitting at my bench here in my new chair that I bought. I bought an expensive air chair. And you know, it's funny because I've been painting for over 50 years from a wooden stool. I thought, okay, so if you saved up for 50 years, buy yourself an air chair. Right? You know what I mean? It's probably worth about 3 or 4 armor kits nowadays. But anyway, so that's what I did, and I was feeling really inspired, so I thought I would sit down in my new chair and paint a little 1/48 scale. Well, here, I'll show it to you. It's this 1/48 scale U.S. howitzer motor carriage by Tamiya, right? And I thought, you know what? I need a palette cleanser. I need something, you know, I've been painting the 1/16 scale for 4 or 5 months, like building that diorama, and I just finally finished it. I thought I need a palette cleanser, like a reset or a treat, an hors d'oeuvre or something. And I thought I would blow off one of these and just have fun weathering, sort of off the cuff weathering. And I want to just explain to you what I did, and because I'm really happy with the direction that it's going so far, okay? Now, what I did was I just decided that, okay, so airbrush first, right? And then I would take this dark green. It's just a dark Tamiya green. I can't even remember what it is, and I really don't care because it's off the cuff, right? Okay, and I sprayed these parts dark green. And then you know what I did is I took this here. This was like coggy, but I added some earth and super thin, like there's like 90% IPA here, but this coggy earthy tone, and I just sprayed it right over top of the dark green. After the dark green, which was a lot heavier, by the way, than this color. After the dark green had set for a couple hours, I did something else, and then I sprayed this, all the parts this color. Then I dumped it, right, once these were painted, and I took just 99% isopropyl alcohol, no paint or nothing, and I just sprayed, soaked all the parts down, and with really high pressure, like 60 psi, and then just let them dry, and it went unreal. It looks just like, you know, what a, you know, Sherman in Normandy looks like. Like, Olive Drab is not even really dark green. It's this kind of cakey, kind of chalky, almost brown green. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but for those of you that are accomplished painters, you know what I'm talking about. So I was so pleased with the way these turned out. But here's the thing. I've done this before on larger scales quite a bit, and I just haven't done it for a while, and I thought I'd try it on this. You don't want to put any flat coats on here because it will mute that down quite a bit. But if you build the model a certain way, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to clear coat your model or flat coat it. I don't know why people are really hung up on that, because, I mean, even the guy from AK, Jimenez, is that how you pronounce his name? Sorry if I mispronounced that. But he talks about that. Don't put any flat coat on your model when you're weathering it. You'll mute a lot of the effects away. If you're using flat paints, what's the point? Especially when you have tons of layers of paint on. But anyway, so that's what I did, right? Dark green first, then this on, then pure 100% or 99% IPA, and then even had some air on it. Just, and if I didn't like it, I just soaked it down again and did it again and again until I liked it. And then I just started putting on some really thin washes of like Vallejo air with water with a brush, Olive Drab, 71.043. And then I want to show you these other 3 colors. Like these 4 colors I love now for doing Olive Drab. Okay. Okay, so how's everybody doing? So I just want to talk about olive brown, olive green, olive drab, whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't want to open up a can of worms here because it's color subjective. Like, here, let me give you an example. And I know this debate is everlasting and never ends. This is one of my favorite books right here for painting armor, like D-Day to Berlin. And this was 1979 by Terrence Wise. This is an excellent book. Don't underestimate these older books. And you want to know why? Because it's what's in the text, not the photos, that matters, okay? like if you read the text, you'll understand more about color and vehicles and weathering than you will than just looking at photos. So like here's just a quick example. Like here's D-Day landing. Sorry, is that glare? Yeah, quite a bit of glare there, sorry. So you can see this priest here. It's fairly dark, probably wet, you know, whatever. Here's a bunch of M4s, Firefly. Like this is just after landing, not too long. Like notice how light color they are. Like they were practicing in England. Like they were weathered before they even came over on the boat. Some of them were, some of them weren't. But you can see the variation there in color, see? Now, it's going to be subject to exposure and light and everything, but it's pretty apparent. Like when you go through this book, you can see, right? Like the weathering is all over the map. So like when you look at these colors here, like I like to mix my own up, you know, like just through trial and error. Like here's 3 colors that you can start with. Like if you're just doing a factory olive paint, like I like to begin with, you know, the XF58 is olive green. See there how dark? I like this as a base color to start, okay? Because I like to add brown to my olive. And then this one is Olive Drab XF62. You can see there's the difference between that one and this one. See the difference? This one has more brown in it. Like this is a good base to start with too, if that's the shade you prefer, XF62. And then there's this here, Olive Drab, which, see the difference there? That's got brown in it as well. And I like to put this over top of this, like these two. This one's a bit too much green for me, but it might be appropriate for another vehicle. But these two right here, XF62 is a base, or even black green is a base, which is what I used right here. This is actually black green over brown, okay? So, you know, I tend to go by feel. I don't get too hung up on like labels. Like they're a good guide for starting out. Now, once this is painted on, I'm going to show you here. Like, see this color here? Like this is the Kagi. Well, sort of like that, but I faded it even more with a bit of brown and white. So this I really like. It's super thin. Like I'm going to spray it on with heavy IPA and wash and just melt some of this green and then just let it oxidize, and then I'm going to paint it by hand from there. And that's how I get the color, or that's the color that I want for this vehicle, okay? But notice how it's very much more brown than green, okay? Some may agree or disagree, and that's okay, right? You can paint your model any color you want. But all I'm saying is from my research and experience, I find that the olives that I see in Normandy from color photos, etc., they tend to have shades of brown when they fade a lot, but that could be from mud, dust, dirt, whatever. But if you're going to paint a vehicle new out of the factory, then, you know, have at her at any one of these colors. XF58, XF51, XF62, okay? Give you one more look at these. See that? Pick your poison. Okay, so I'm going to show you this, and this is going to happen really fast, okay? So here's the color I'm going to shoot over top of this dark green, which is a combination of Olive Drab XF51 and brown JGSDF XF72. Okay, see that? It's more towards the brown, isn't it? Okay, over top of the dark green, in this case black green, or really dark olive if you want. So I've got it in here and it's super thin. It's like 10% color and the rest is IPA. So you know what I'm going to do is, I know this seems crazy, but I've done this a lot of times before, and you just got to keep working it until you get it. And I love it as a base coat because I'm going to do everything else by hand after that and work with what I end up with here and touch up the inside if there's any overspray, okay? So I'm going to lay this on, and you can see that it has a semi-transparency fade to it. Like it's almost like a fade. You could actually go with that. It looks pretty cool if you want to do that. I'm going to lay it all on. Probably could put a bit more on. Now you could just leave that, and that's a really good base color to go with. Okay, see that? Now I'll show you what I'm going to do, because there's not enough on here for what I want to do. Okay, but you can always reapply and reapply, and because it's really thin, it should be pretty cool, because I can lay this on over top of the modeling, and I'm going to show you how I achieve it. Oop, there, I just spilt a bunch on there. See that? Whoops. But that's okay, because that is the way armored vehicles are. Now watch, I never sweat those things. Actually, it'll probably work to my favor. So now I'm going to grab this isopropyl 99% alcohol. I got 60 psi here. I'm going to put in a full cup. Okay, and let's put this up like this. I'm just going to bathe the whole model in air and blow that off. The key here is to get lots of IPA. Onto the model. And then just let it dry. Okay? Okay, so here's the main hull, and I gotta tell you, I just love the way it turned out. So, do you remember how scary that was? You know, spraying on that light coggy. Oh, and by the way, you know what? Off camera, I spilled the whole bottle on my bench. Isn't that the way it is, though? Like, out of all the other 150 colors I could have spilled, but no, I had to spill my magic coggy fade, you know. Oh, well, I'll learn to mix more. So, that's what I did, is I put that coggy fade on there over the dark green. Remember, the dark green is basically this black green. Okay, I didn't even put any of those Tamiya olives. So just the black green and then that coggy faded, super thin. Like, the trick is 5% paint. Just lay it on really heavy, you know, and it's so thin, like it's 95% IPA, so it's not going to build up any paint. You won't get any paint coagulation because the IPA just evaporates and it leaves the pigment all mottled and oxidized. And then I took the IPA straight and just sprayed and washed it down, and it still settled in all that like coggy sort of olive brown sort of color. I just love the way that turned out. And even along the sides, there's a little bit of texturing from road texture where it built up and dried. See the weld seams, how they're a bit darker, like on their own. Look at the back of the tools. Like the fade, like the shade is still in behind the tools, but look at the fade. I mean, I'll pick those off by hand, but see that there too? The sides won't be as much, but you can. And here's another thing in closing on this. If you take a wooden toothpick, you can actually work in scratches and things. It's really, really cool. Now, the one question people have, what happens when you flat coat this? Well, a lot of this gets muted down, but I don't flat coat my models usually. Why? Why do we have to flat coat the model? Because people have been doing it? I mean, some of the top paint producers like AK and so on, like those CEOs and owners, say not to do it when you're doing weathering. So there you go. Now, this is a good base for getting to this here. Just move this out of the way, which I did in the same way, except this one turned out a little more random. See there? And then see how it's like, look at that. Isn't that cool? And you know what the one thing is I'll also say about this that is almost kind of a killjoy is this whole process happens so quickly that it's almost depressing. Like it's over so fast. And you're thinking, well, what, you know, I wanted to, you know, I wanted to spend time painting. Okay, well, you can do that now with other little details And then I'm going to do the weathering by hand on the bottom of the chassis and the bogies, etc. But you can do all that touch-ups with Vallejo, like water-based dip, like you've seen me do it, like highlighting areas and rust spots, chips. You can do all the chips by hand. I find doing them by hand is the way to go in my opinion. But and then this, like I'll have to clean up the paint because once again, by the time you try to get this on there, I'll try to get it on there for you just in closing here, just to give you an idea what it would look like. Yeah, so you can see the inside there. See that? See the seats? That's some smoke and sand, some varied colors. I just put some wear on the seat stools, and then you can see the white or the beige interior down below. And then also, in closing on this, let me just take this turret off one more time. When I oversprayed the olive, a little bit got on this upper deck, see there, but I'm going to leave that because I'm going to put a bit of mud and chipping there because there'd be a lot of like stepping up on there to get in and out of the turret. And then also these, like the ammunition storage, which I didn't show really, and I painted on the side, you can see. I'll have to dry brush these up a bit and then, you know, they'll go inside down below the turret area as a little bit of added detail. Okay? Cheers. Happy modeling, and I hope that you have a great day.